The Duke and Duchess of Cambridge have been releasing Christmas cards for a decade, and of all the hidden messages in every single one of them, the 2014 is especially relevant, and you're about to find out why. Welcome back, my Body Language buddies! My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas, I'm the Body Language guy, and it will be great if you join us by just liking this video, subscribing and hitting that bell. Let's get down to it. At first sight, it is a bit hard to find a common style between all these pictures. Let's pick, for example, 2017 and 2018 side by side. It's like looking at two totally different families. But what makes the Cambridge's Christmas cards so interesting is that these are not photos taken specifically for the card itself, like a dedicated photo session to create the image for the card. Instead, they pick an image from the current year to represent them. That is important because after my analysis of the 2021 Christmas card photo, you might think that this is already thought in advance. But no, of all the pictures they take over the year, they get to choose one. This is important because it means that there is an intention, there is a reason why they choose a specific photo. And that choice can reveal the general state of mind of the person, or in this case, of a couple. Let's compare 2014 to 2015. Putting aside the fact that there is an obvious change in the number of people featured, one of the pictures is closer to them and the other has much more space around them. This is an important message hidden in photograph. The closer you take the picture, the more detailed will be the facial expressions of the protagonist. It will be a more emotional image. The farther you are, then the group dynamic will be more important. In this case, 2014, it's a very spontaneous photo since none of them are looking straight at the camera and, most importantly, it depicts an action. William showing a butterfly to George. Even if this was not the first Christmas card with George, it was way more spontaneous than the year before when they picked one from his christening. But in this one, they are in the middle of nature and all of them are looking at the butterfly. You might remember that the butterfly is a sign of rebirth, of renewal, of a next step. Even if George is the next in line to be the heir of the British throne, this picture is much more focused on their family itself. Again, you can see the difference if you take another look at 13 and 17, being 17 definitely an outlier. But going back to 14, this photo has visual movement because since we read from left to right, we begin to read the photo on William's face. And it's important to make a distinction between a photo where you see the people looking straight at the camera or you see them looking anywhere else. And yes, I know who just appeared in your mind right now. Our brain is hardwired to prioritize faces that are trying to establish eye contact with us. And it doesn't make any kind of distinction whether the face is from a person in front of us or from a photograph or even a painting. The moment we see a picture like 13, where they are looking straight into the camera, your brain automatically freezes into their eyes. This is by design, this is something that you cannot avoid. That's how powerful is eye contact, even with an image. That's why in 14's photo, since none of them are looking straight into the camera, then our brain forces our eyes to read the rest of the picture. Of course, always starting with the faces. So we start to read this picture from left to right. We start with William's face, and since he is not looking at us, we proceed to the next face, that is Catherine. Our brain checks, confirms that she's not looking at us either, and goes on to George. Same check, and then something very interesting happens. This happens in a split second, but our brain has been collecting body language information from them. And the most important riddle is, what are they looking at? The butterfly in this case, rebirth, a new generation, a new level. But our eyes still need to get information from the rest of the picture, so our gaze keeps going to complete a full circle up to William's face again. Now, if you haven't noticed yet, what our eyes did was actually complete a cycle, a circle over the picture. The same concept of renewal, of cycles in nature, it happens visually in the photo. And the photo also has a special significance in terms of color, because the color where we start our circle is William's white shirt. The next one is the medium green that we pick up from Catherine's dress, and George has two shades of blue, navy blue and light blue. So there is also a progression of color intensity in the same direction that we read the faces. First, the lightest color possible, white, then Catherine's dress, green in a medium tone, then George in navy blue and light blue, back to William's white again. All these are symbols that we pick up subconsciously. We don't know why, but we can see this photograph moving. There is an action that is happening. There is heavy symbolism, and at the same time, that dynamic is supported by color. Not to mention that the palette is really representative of nature. I think that with this picture, William and Catherine really wanted to depart from a formal concept to a more familiar one, and sending a message of hope for nature and environment. I don't think it was a coincidence that William had founded the Tusk Conservation Awards the year before. So I'm sure they looked at their photograph from 2013, which, as you can see for yourself, is spectacular on its own merit, but they said, how can we use the coverage of our Christmas card photo to send various messages at the same time? It takes a bit of effort, but the idea is to send different messages in different dimensions, using the same picture. You'd like to portray your family, maybe make a reference to the monarchy, and if you can fit a message about your service, then that will be great. So from that 2013 very formal, impeccable photo, they drastically changed for a more spontaneous one. In both of them, they are presenting their family and they did not need to stare straight into the camera. But it's not like you are going to have a Christmas card hiding your face, right? Oh. Well, that's Harry and Meghan on their 2018 Christmas card. A photo of them facing away from us, watching fireworks at their evening wedding reception. Let's face it, they were revealing their plans. This was a symbol of we want to watch the world burn. Going back to the Cambridges, there's also the contrast of how they dress in both pictures. Okay, I'm sure you love watching William in navy blue suit. There it goes. I'm going to leave it a bit longer for your viewing pleasure. A couple more seconds. Okay, enough. But in 2014, you see him with just a shirt and he has his sleeves rolled. This is also a symbol of many things, mainly being a novice and amateur. That's why the first belt in most martial arts is white, because it's a symbol of being a naive, innocent apprentice that has to put on the work. And that's one of the visual meanings we always pick up from someone whose sleeves are rolled. At the same time, he is extending his arm to his son to present the butterfly. In fact, his arm is what completes the circle of the picture. An arm that represents the willingness to put in the work, no matter if he sees himself as an apprentice of life. Every single one of their Christmas pictures have really interesting symbols that project a message that you get, even if you can't describe it with words. But now, for this picture, you can. If you want me to keep analyzing their Christmas card photos, you can show me some love with the like button. And if you think any other picture of them is worth an analysis, you can suggest them through my Twitter or Instagram. If you want to refine your observation skills, all you have to do is download my 100 body language tips right in the description of this video. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas and it will always be a pleasure, my body language buddies. Much love and bliss.